Todd, it's still extremely early, but it's been a couple of scrimmages and some practices watching Strome's skill set next to McDavid's. You noticed anything or anything that tells you that it has a chance to work?
I don't even think it's fair. You kind of answered the question the same way I will. It's not even fair after two 50-minute straight-time games with a complete mix of first-year junior players and NHL players to evaluate where he's at and the chemistry that they have. He's figuring things out as we go. You know, he had one day where he scored a goal in scrimmage. That was great, but we won't be able to tell you that or answer those questions until we really get going.
The last few years, well, especially you came in your first year, you had to teach a whole system to a group. You've basically got 85-90% of your team back. A few guys like Strome and Jokinen. Do you just work a little extra one-on-one with the new guys and then just go comprehensive as a group, just small tweaks on what you did last year? How do you, is it easier to bring in when you only have one or two rather than 10 or 12?
Well, it's never easier. Every year takes on its own set of circumstances, whether it's the veterans, new players, combinations of both. Sometimes the veterans forget what the simple basics are, and you have to take them back to that level. They want to get ahead of themselves all the time, and unless you have your standard foundation in place and you're living up to it, you can't graduate your team, and we're doing that right now. Some of the newcomers that we think have a real good chance at competing for jobs here had a little tutorial before camp started, you know, on testing day where they could sit and watch some video with some of the coaching staff. And it's more to learn the language. The game is played the same in a lot of places, but the language that we use, we don't want to be confusing them, and they've picked it up fairly well.
Is there a method to, obviously there is, because Benning, Russell aren't playing either game from here there. Stanton is a veteran, he's not playing either, so you want to see younger defensemen rather.
Yeah, we do. You know, we want to play some players, give them an opportunity early here to get their feet wet, give them an idea what it's going to feel like as we move forward, and find out if they deserve to move forward. And that's what we're doing tonight. Some of the veterans, you mentioned Benning and Stanton and those type of guys, you know, we're 4 days into competitive camp. Some have bumps and bruises already, and we have to consider that as well. So, you know, as we move forward, everybody's going to get an opportunity to perform and to show us their stuff. We play 5 games this week. By the time Sunday rolls around, that's a lot of hockey, and everybody's going to have an opportunity to go.
You probably won't cut down then because we got so many games this week.
Yeah, I don't. You know what? You may see 1 or 2 players dribble out a little bit, but probably you know, Wednesday, Thursday, we're looking at making some big decisions, and then it'll dwindle after that.
Todd, this used to be a camp where young kids came in and had a shot and a real chance to make the team right away. For years before you came, there was juniors making it all the time. Now it's not. You can almost pick this team from a media standpoint. What's the difference?
I read.
What's the difference in running a camp where there's very few jobs?
You know, camp for us and the approach is very much the same. We want to see the young players. We want to see them approach each game and how they their practice skills, how they play, and all that type of stuff. But we have a more established lineup, as you mentioned. We want to make sure that we're getting our team ready to play. Opening night sneaks up on you fairly quick. So we spend a little bit more time with the veteran players, a little bit more time with our team. You'll see that once we divide the groups coming up and try and get prepared, and that's the ultimate goal. But in the meantime, we're also concerned about those young players. We want to see where they fit in and leave them with a good taste as they go back to their own teams.
You seem to want to play Bear and Jones together. What do you see?
Well, we don't necessarily want to play them together, but they've started. They played you know, some of the hockey together in Penticton, not always, but some. And you know, we'll put them in a game tonight where the intensity is going to go up. The pace is going to be a little bit quicker, and we'll see if they can communicate with each other, use some of the things that we've talked about in the first 4 days, and look at their game at that point.
One of the young guys on your team hoping to become a regular is Jujhar Khaira. What do you want to see from him? I know it's only scrimmage, but he's scored a lot early on. I don't know if that's necessarily what he's looking for, but do you see any comparisons at all to him being similar to how Pitlick slammed the door open for himself last year.
I think that that's a fair assessment. You know, the opportunity is there. The unfortunate thing with JJ is we've never really got to see him consistently play, often due to injury. So he's got to find a way to stay healthy, and he's a big body, he moves his body well. He can play multiple positions. If he's plays well enough and he's capable of staying here, we want to introduce him to the penalty kill. We think that he can do some of that work, and he provides a physical element. So there's a lot of real good things in his game right now. He looks more comfortable right now, and I think part of that's health and a lot of it's confidence. So let's hope that that parlays into a good camp and an opportunity to play on our team.
Jokkinen's just still sore?
No, he skated yesterday. He's just not going to play. He's not playing today. We're looking at some other players. Good.